Spaceship Music Collective. This is Six Set Bro, a misguided adventure through the social fringe of the music industry. I'm your host, Dom Maple. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Six Set Bro. I don't know why I always say it in like a funny voice at the start.
A bit Dracula-ish.
Yeah, I'm reverting to my Halloween episode voice every single time. Welcome to Six Set Bro. I'm Dom Maple. I'm gonna be your host this evening, as I am most evenings. Joined by Nandez.ttv. He streams on Twitch. He's a gamer. He's a gamer girl. And he's over there, and his cap's on backwards tonight because he's super cool.
That means it means business.
He means business.
It's business time.
It's business time.
Definitely
It's sleeping time, everyone. We're all a little tired tonight, I think. And of course, always joined by the hungry ghost down there, the insatiable Money Mike, cash register. Will forever be his intro noise. And
we need to get Nandez a sound effect.
No,
Well,
the mystery has to continue with where I'm from.
The mystery lives on. I might
There's
get the
Although I am wearing a football top from where I'm from.
Hey, there you go. Where's that again?
That's the Jersey Bulls, bruv.
Jersey, New Jersey, Old Jersey?
Old Jersey, New Jersey.
The old New Jersey.
The old
Yes.
New Jersey.
You should just start an episode in a full-blown New Jersey accent one time, and then just confuse people. Or, I don't know. Can you just speak fluent Spanish? Spanish? I don't know what that. I don't know what that language is, everyone. But you could do that.
It's Cinco de Mayo, so happy Cinco de Mayo to any Mexicans listening.
It is.
To chicas and chicos.
He does speak fluent Spanish. I never knew, man. So we got a.
I'm also too embarrassed to try and talk because I'm like, fuck, I don't know if I'm saying that right.
The only word I know in Spanish is embarcadero. It's the only word I know. Guitar's too far away. I'd usually grab it. This is a music and entertainment podcast. Y'all know that anyways. And, we got a jam-packed show for you tonight. We got to talk about, there's a new Royal Blood album, James Blunt. I want to talk about him for a reason.
2 seconds.
What? You're going to interrupt my jam-packed
I am,
show?
because I seen Sean McCann going, Nandez hot tub stream. I know what he's talking about. It's a trend on Twitch. That is not, I could get one for here. And then I could just get a.
I want that to happen.
Yes, it's the hot tub stream. Jesus Christ! What a way to try and get around the old. Sorry for everybody listening. Just I feel like not everyone's clued in on this. Not everybody's clued in on the old hot tub stream, right? So Twitch has Twitch, the gaming streaming service, Nandez.ttv. Nandez.mtv. He streams games on Twitch. Twitch is the streaming service where you play your games and you do other stuff. So they have like pretty strict rules around not nudity exactly. I mean, obviously they don't want that, but even like wearing revealing clothing. But the workaround that a lot of people figured out, and I do say a lot of women, let's be honest, have figured out, is that you're allowed to wear appropriate clothing for whatever you're doing. So they've decided to stream from hot tubs because then they can wear their bikinis, which obviously gets them a lot of pervy viewers, I guess. And Twitch is like, I guess it's in the rules. They are in a hot tub.
Found a loophole. Geniuses.
Can I just throw in the loophole started years ago?
Oh yeah, it's just getting way too big now.
Body painting. Artistry.
Oh, body painting.
Then it went to yoga, and then now it's this.
Now it's the hot
I
tubs.
want us to get all the Nandez perv viewers. I'll take them. happily.
Yeah.
Nando's in a bikini and yeah, exactly.
First step, first tier, me without a hat on camera.
Oh, baby. Don't even tempt
It's
us,
such a
man.
tease, man.
Don't even tempt us. I'm all thrown off here. I was about to give you my summary.
Getting hot under the collar there.
Need a minute. Need a minute to cool down.
I seen the comment. I had to shoot in there before the topic went away.
I need my water.
Oh, you're on what? Mike's on beer again? Oh, dear.
Yeah.
We all know I'm dieting.
What's happening? You guys are letting me down here.
Dude,
I'm the only one talking nonsense by the end of the podcast now.
He's got a
Ooh,
monster.
What's that one?
That's the punch one.
Pink
right.
monster.
Yeah.
Pink monster punch. No, I'm
year.
on water. I'm still
That's a good year.
30 days of keto, fellas, so I don't really get to drink much other than water. On day 10. But I've lost 8 pounds, so that's all good.
I'm on the
slightly fainty yet?
No. I'm on the drink and eat as much shit as possible because work's depressing, so I've gained 10 pounds.
Yeah, you see, this was my issue before I started keto again, was, it's very easy to fall into that. Right, summary of the show. I usually do this.
What, are we doing a podcast? What's happening right now?
I think so. Can't remember. Yeah, I like to give a summary of what we're gonna get into, so that it tees the people up. They're ready. They're like, oh, he said he was gonna talk about that.
So they can hold us accountable if we don't get around to actually talking about what we say we will.
100%. That's why I started writing stuff down, because I forget. Yeah, new Royal Blood record. James Blunt, for some reason, want to talk about him. Billie Eilish again. Miley Cyrus, kind of, but not really. And DJ Khaled, I guess. He brought out a new album. We got all this and more on tonight's podcast. You know what? I actually want to start with a story. I have a story, a fun anecdote that only comes with living in the countryside.
Oh, so we can't relate.
You can't relate, but this will explain what it's like. So last night I was in the old studio right here mixing some hot new tracks, and I got my headphones on, so like I really can't hear anything outside of this in the headphones. Like it blocks out everything. They're pretty good. So it's weird when I do hear something, it must be really loud. So I was in the middle of mixing, I like stopped the track, and I could hear like yelling. And I was like, what the hell? And I like take my headphones off, and I could hear my neighbor, pretty distinctive voice. That's why I knew it was her. She's like 4 doors up or something, 3 or 4 doors away from me. And I heard her yelling like, they're in my garden. And I was like, what? It's like, they're in my garden. There's 4 of them in here. And then there's a guy yelling back, being like, I can't get down. I can't get down. It's like, do you want to come through the front door? I need them out of here. And I was like, all right. So, I mean, quite a few times I've caught like dogs escaping, and they're running through like the hedges and stuff. So you would make the assumption that it's dogs. But then, right, and this is genuinely how it happened, then I heard, Murr. So there was 4 cows in my neighbor's garden that just like fell down a hill. There's a huge hill beside here, like, so, like, I mean, you really can't climb up it. So I think it was raining and it was probably slippery, and they started sliding down or something. So like 4 full-grown cows ended up in her back garden and like wrecked the place, and some farmer had to come and get them. And that's what it's like to live in the country, y'all.
Were they okay?
Well, that was my worry. I know that sounds really bad. I mean, I feel bad for my neighbor's garden, but I was a bit concerned about the cows. I haven't heard anymore. So.
I'm sure they were just milking it.
I still don't have a noise for that. I wanted to get canned laughter, Andy, but
That's right. The dead silence does it even better.
Yeah.
I did appreciate that.
I was gonna push crickets, and I was like, that's not fair. That was pretty good.
That was very good. Very good.
That was pretty good. So, yeah, that's my story about living in the country, and yeah. So I suppose we'll get into the first little bit of news. DJ Khaled finally released that record he'd been talking about, and man, DJ Khaled makes me laugh so much. He's so funny, man. He's such a meme, and he knows it, which just makes it better. But he like I just I love that the record came out, right? And it's like the classic DJ Khaled. If people don't know, he likes to say the exact same thing at the start of every track. Pretty much like, you're Jason Derulo's, you're all these people that feel the need to tell you who made the track. So, although a lot of producers like have like subtle things to tell you it was them. Like Pharrell has the 4 repeat intro. If y'all haven't heard that, you'll hear it on his produced tracks. Like if you listen to like Blurred Lines, he's got that like doom 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 before the track starts. He tends to do that where he like skips
Beautiful
4 times before he goes in.
Snoop Dogg as well.
Beautiful, All Right by Kendrick Lamar. All those songs, they all have like a 4 skip intro. That's like a Pharrell trademark. And then you got like Metro Boomin with his like Metro don't trust you, I won't shoot you. Which took me for like I had to look that up. I was like, what is he saying? I'm pretty sure. What is it? If young Metro don't trust you, I'm gonna shoot you. And I was like, whoa.
I always think the best one's Kenny Beats' one. Just goes, whoa, Kenny, and then the beat kicks in.
Yeah. His is good because it's quick, and it's, it tells you everything that you need to know. Yeah, DJ Khaled's goes a little bit something like this. It goes, we the best music! Another one. DJ Khaled! All 3 parts every time. Sometimes not just at the start of the track, but also at the end. Sometimes twice.
Just in case by the end you forgot. It's like,
you could potentially forget
this again.
Well, you see, this is what really got me going a little bit more. So, as if it wasn't enough for him to remind you every track, and sometimes at the end of the track, in case you've forgotten, he is DJ Khaled. But just to really drive it home, the record's called Khaled. That's the name of the album. It's just his name twice.
That's his 2 kids though, in the work card though. Right?
Yeah, which are named after him.
Well, it'll be second name, but I don't know.
I don't know. Is it a I don't really. Whatever.
Like
I don't know. It's just a lot of Khaleds flying around that record.
Their second name would be whatever their first name is in college, right? So
why not just name it after their first names? I don't know. That seems like it would have been a more inventive name.
Because there'd be no Khaled in there.
There would be no branding. That would be the issue. But yeah, no, man, he's the best though, and it was a fun record though. Have you listened to it all?
I listened to it. By the way, I just want to get it straight. That's the Instagram where I post my Twitch clips. The Twitch name is just get rid of the TTV.
It's just Anandez.
Yes. I listened to the record after I listened to Mike's single.
Oh yeah, you made a point.
I made a point of that.
You made a point of making sure you listened to our stuff before Khaled, DJ Khaled, even though he the best music, Andy. He the best music.
I actually watched the video first, and then listened to the song on the way home. But
dude, I didn't really realize how many videos there were until after I listened to it. And I was like, shit, there's a lot of videos for this thing.
Wait, what were you asking me again? Oh, the record, the Khaled record. It was something that was done. You can tell it was like a pandemic record, I guess, where people couldn't really be in the same room, and there was old tracks on there like Pop Star with Drake, and there was Grease as well, was an old song.
Yeah, they
I
were
mean,
very
it's just
old.
it's a bug. I don't see it as an hour. It's a playlist again.
Yeah.
It's
Well, it's hard whenever you're like someone like DJ Khaled. You're a producer. It's not really your album. You know what
yeah,
I
he
mean?
just gets the best artists from.
Yeah, so many people want to work with him.
Yeah,
It's
so
crazy.
he's marketing himself, like he knows what he's doing. He appeals
Oh,
to
yeah.
an audience that will just rush out and buy that. I don't think it's great. I don't think the Jay-Z and Nas song at the end was great. I thought it was just okay.
It's alright.
I
I,
guess.
I think out of the whole track listing, though, like the Jay-Z and Nas track was one of the better ones in my opinion. The I still think like Popstar with Drake was like the best song, but I think it's probably the best song because it was recorded at a time when they could properly work together.
Yeah, that's
Plus,
what I mean.
it's Drake on like the entire track. It's the thing that I hated about like that album was more it was kind of the weird features, you know, like where you have you read the feature list and you're like, oh, that's really cool. I'd love to hear those two people collab on a track, but it becomes apparent very quick that he just like asked them both to do stuff and then he just spliced them into one half of the song and then another half, which is kind of annoying. It's like her and Migos were on a track and I was kind of like,
there's a sample in that song, right?
I think so. It's like a reggae sort of.
Oh no,
sample
that's
or
the wrong
something.
song I'm thinking about.
I
Hold
think
on,
anyway.
Because I literally have only done a one listen through.
Yeah.
The Lil Wayne song at the beginning. I mean, it was
Yeah.
okay for an intro.
It's alright,
Nothing
yeah.
special.
Lil Wayne's hardly on it. To be
Yeah,
honest.
he just
he's kind of just barely
he does
on it at
he
the
does
end.
the if you notice he does the Kendrick Be Humble.
Yes. Yeah, it's like the same.
He does that,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
it's the same like rhythm, but obviously his own words. But that was okay for an intro, I guess. Let me put up the little baby track. I'm just gonna like anything Lil Baby's on anyway. The Cardi B song was cool. Ah, there it is. The Post Malone song. There's a sample on that.
Yeah,
I
it was
think.
Derek and the Dominoes.
Yeah.
Layla.
Yeah.
I wasn't
I
too
didn't
fussed
mind it.
on that.
I didn't
don't
mind
know.
it, but I was like,
Felt like one of those cheap samples to me where it's just like he didn't do much to it.
Yeah.
He just kind of like took a good riff and was like, I'm gonna use this.
this is one of the albums where I was saying a couple of weeks ago where you just pull songs for playlists. That's it.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
listen to
yeah.
the song and you go, this one I'll add it to my
Oh, yeah.
summer playlist
There's-
or whatever.
No need to listen to it from start to finish.
Which is
at
where
all.
I think most of DJ Khaled's songs kind of go.
I like
Because there's too many Khaleds.
I didn't
mean,
spend
those are
30
the-
years
yeah.
in DJ school just to be called Khaled. Thank you
mean,
very much.
Was it? Is it? I don't know if there's a sun. Is him in the middle? I don't know. But that's where most of his. That's where the Khaled songs that I don't have a full album of his. I just have songs. Just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
in a
They're
playlist. I don't
club
have
tracks, like
yeah.
they're made to be played. Out
And
at
he's
the
brought it
bars
out
and
at the right
stuff,
time.
Yeah, well,
Everyone's
that's it.
going out.
Everybody's flocking
Yep.
back. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he
So-
waited. He waited for that, for sure. Yeah, I mean it's there, but it's if you want to get any joy out of it, just really enjoy the amount of Khaled that's all over that thing. It's twice in the title. It's on every song, sometimes twice. That's my favorite part.
Yeah.
Really, that's what makes the record for me. It made me listen to it more, just because I'm like, I don't know, it got old and then it got better again.
Yeah,
I
and
was
then
like,
it's the same.
"No,
It's the same as the music videos. It's like when you first watch his music videos, regardless of who's in it, like
Yeah.
everyone's cool in the video, and then Khaled comes along on like a horse or something, and he's like uncoordinated, and you're like,
Yeah.
what is happening right now? But it kind of makes the video
Oh, it makes
funnier.
it great.
I was
He's
like,
such
what is
a-
going on?
such
But he
a
knows
cringe.
it. He knows it.
This is the problem, is that at the beginning he was cringe unintentionally, and then he realized what a meme he was. It was like, I'm a
gonna
market
roll
this.
into it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like
There
that
was
classic
ti-
video of him on the jet ski where he's filming himself.
He
and-
got lost.
I know.
That was the funniest
going
part. That
on?
was like one of the earliest things I remember of how funny DJ Khaled was. Is he was always taking his jet ski out and Snapchatting about it, And then he got lost, like genuinely lost. But Snapchat seemed to. Why was he using Snapchat as his form of like, I don't know where I am.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell, man? And he's like, bless up, praying,
Bless
praying
up.
hands.
Bless up.
Bless up, everyone. Yeah. So go listen to Khaled just to get your daily fill of DJ Khaled telling you who he is and how best his music is.
Artwork is pretty cute though, because I wouldn't have got that unless Andy had said, it's his
Yeah,
two
about
kids
the
on
kids.
the side.
Yeah.
I didn't
With his
realize
little-
that's why he called it that until I seen the album artwork.
Right, you recognize that garden straight away from the I'm the one video from his last thing where he filmed it and is like.
Which I think
I
that's
wanna
where
say-
he comes into a horse, like he's on a horse in that, right?
Might be, yeah. That one is literally like way over the top on purpose for sure. But his videos are always pretty good. Like I really like the pop star video with Drake because it's just
Bieber as well.
yeah, it's just funny because they got Justin Bieber because it was like, Khaled trying to get it's like DJ Khaled's trying to get Drake to go film a video and Drake doesn't want to.
Yeah.
So then he like calls Justin Bieber instead, and then he mimes the entire video as if it's a Drake song.
In the
It's
house.
pretty good.
See?
Yeah.
Simple
I
idea.
like that.
Simple idea.
Bieber's cool again, so it's all good, and Bieber's cool now. Yeah. So another record that came out, I don't really know if you guys listened to it, but the Royal Blood dropped an album, and
Oh, an album? Oh.
yes, yeah, full length album. Now they've been dropping singles from it here and there, but I always thought like these guys would be like the savior of rock and roll. To be honest, like they would bring guitar based music well back into radio playlists in the mainstream. And I mean, I'm not saying they didn't do that because I think they've done pretty well to do that. But this album, I actually really like it, and the only way I can think to describe this, I don't know, this might be somewhere else. It was just the first thing that popped into my head, was it kind of sounds like if Daft Punk just played like, heavy rock guitars, or well, in Royal Blood's case, like a bass with a octaver and a distortion pedal. But it sounds like Daft Punk riffs that are usually on a keyboard are now on a guitar, and it's very cool. So it's like almost like a dance record for Royal Blood, and I'm all about that. It's a great album, really like it. You should go and listen to that. And I mean, they couldn't have timed that. Like they didn't know Daft Punk were gonna like call it quits, and it feels like a very good filler for those guys going. Is
Just need to get the two of them some masks and
yeah, I know
continue
they're
on the legacy.
they're also a duo. Yeah, I don't know. It just you can let me know if you guys listen to it. Let me know if you think that, or if anybody else has heard it. Let me know if I'm just on my own on that one. But it sounds like Daft Punk to me, like the earlier Daft Punk with all those like crazy riffs they play on the synth, but they're just on a distorted bass now.
I just heard the single. I'm not that up on it yet that I don't even remember the name. But whatever single they're pushing being played on Radio 1, and it was just like big and fun, and it's exactly what I think people are gonna want now that like we're all being released back to pubs and stuff again.
Back into the wild.
Yeah.
Boilermaker is probably what they're promoting now. I think anyway. But they've done Troubles Coming. They've done Typhoons. They've been releasing a lot of singles before it came out. So, and then
guitar-based music push.
yeah, man. Yeah,
Man,
baby.
I was, as for me personally, there'll be a no better time than late 90s, early 2000s.
I seen you on your
I
Insta story
was
watching
living-
Oasis.
I was listening to Embrace. I was listening to Keane. I was listening to Richard Ashcroft. I was like, God, man, this needs to come back. They're the only people that was unreal.
It's so hard. That feels like it's just of such a time that it'll
was
just
such
never
a
be
peak. It was-
recaptured.
yeah.
I don't
so
know if
good.
you'll ever get that back. That was the war of Britpop and all that sort of stuff.
When was Arctic Monkeys? When was their first album?
It's the early 2000s, maybe
Yeah,
2000, 2001 or
noughties, I would've
something.
thought, yeah.
Yeah. Although, I mean, they were like Britpop at the start, and then, they're one of those bands that was clever enough to change with the times so they didn't get left behind. until
like-
they made like a conceptual piano-based space opera, and then people were like, "What?"
And I think it
Really?
was the conversations we've been having over the weeks. I was like, what is my favorite Oasis album? And it's none of the regular ones. It's Standing on the Soldiers of Giants is my favorite album of theirs.
Yeah.
None of
Do
the
you know-
other ones. I like the other ones, but that one for me, I think maybe because of the time. And
Yeah.
that was, but I just think it sounded great.
Ask me what mine is.
None. Because they remind you of the Beatles too much.
We've spoken too much. We've been friends for too long.
When was the first season of Breaking Bad?
2005,
So probably a year after that, a year before that.
maybe. Yeah. Well, no. It
I
would've
love
been
that. That's
after
how
that.
you measure the.
Because I think
know.
that's when it was, right?
Well, no. Well, I know.
Or was it way before?
We started working in the same place, so like I started working there in 2008. So I probably met you in 2008. Because that's where we met. But what a cute story, guys. Where'd you meet? In work.
In BWS.
In BWS, in the alcohol aisle. Yeah, so James Blunt is pointlessly in the news. I
I was
don't know.
wondering, when you said that at the beginning, I was like, where is James Blunt going to fit in music right now?
You know what? He really doesn't. It's
Oh.
just because the Royal Albert Hall have announced that they're gonna host gigs to full capacity, and
Oh, cool.
James Blunt is gonna be the first performer allowed to play a full house since the 17th of March 2020. So he'll be
And
the
this
first one.
is the Godzilla and the fucking thing. Again,
Everyone
the
will be
first
going to
that
James
Everyone will be
Blunt.
going just because it's James, and they can go out and it's just James Blunt. That's it. That's
So-
it. That's it.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Is this different from the thing that Blossom's just done? Is it because it's full capacity?
Well,
Blossoms
where
had
did
that
they
first-
play?
Oh, I don't know.
Because
off the
Royal
top of
Albert
my
Hall
head.
is like a
So
it's a
thing.
big
Yeah.
venue. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're talking like arena shows, so I think that's the difference from obviously people have been able to play things, but if you're talking like a sold out arena, this will be the first one that's
Yeah, it'll
allowed
be
to
a
go to
big-
full capacity. I should have really taken down the date of it. I don't know when it's happening, but apparently he's the first performer in there anyway. That'll be allowed to play it. Which is
That's
it's
the Godzilla King Kong first movie released in theaters.
yeah.
Fastest, biggest grossing. It's like James Blunt, fastest ticket sell. It's like, well, yeah,
Yeah.
because if you lock people in,
Yeah,
We'll be wondering in a couple of months, and we'll be like, why is James Blunt trending? We'll all have
Number
forgotten,
one
and it's like his songs top the charts again. And we're like, what? And everyone's like, I don't know. I'm just on this James Blunt kick now. Ever since we all went to see him, everyone, the whole of the United Kingdom went to see him at once.
everyone's itching to go out.
So much that you would be willing to see James Blunt
James Blunt, exactly.
of all people.
the Blossom show was at Sefton Park, and it was a test thing. It was 5,000 people.
Outdoors though.
Yeah.
See.
Yeah.
I
So
think-
this is
think that's
this is
the big
very different then.
difference.
Yeah.
I think it's that it's an indoor arena, because indoor shows in general aren't really. People have announced them, but none of them have happened.
But this is
and
the thing as well. It's like people coming back that are playing all these different shows. Everybody's gonna try and put a twist on it to get the press from it. So there'll be like the first show that's back indoors, but also they are selling hot dogs at the venue or something. They'll try and find like an extra. Yeah, but we're the first that did this. The first
Yeah.
one that's back and also selling merch or something like that. You know what I mean? Everybody's gonna try and find the reason to get the
What if you
PR out
need?
of it.
What if you need like a vax pass to get in?
maybe we don't know how that's gonna go down.
Well,
but
the Blossoms thing was a test before and after, I think. Maybe
a
definitely
test,
before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a test is. I mean, you can do those. Although they're not very reliable, the rapid flow tests.
Yeah, because you're doing it yourself, and it depends how much you shove
just,
it
like,
up
all
your nose
scared
or
and
whatever.
stuff.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean the thing is, I mean you do you do the home kits yourself anyway for coronavirus testing, which might. I mean, I always thought it was kind of unreliable, me testing myself, but the rapid flow it's a quicker one, so you can get a result in like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Like
So like a
you
pregnancy
look
test
at it
type deal?
yourself. Yeah, yeah. So then, but the whole thing is it's so unreliable is that if it comes back positive, then they tell you go get a real test, so,
Right,
which is
yeah.
just kind of funny. It's like, all right, wait, it seems like a waste of time, but sure. But if anybody like my first show back, whenever I come back, will be the first show ever where the musician that's playing will administer vaccines at the door. I will vaccinate you on the way in.
Via a sporter hunting rifle.
Yes. I don't want to get too close. I want to maintain my social distance, so I will be throwing them like darts.
Like
You
Ace
will have to
Ventura.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just thinking, why am I'm way off. Thinking of that scene where he gets hit in the knees with
And he just goes, ah!
It's like my favorite thing.
yeah. That was,
Second, that's the first one. Second,
yeah, I
vaccine.
know. That'll be me whenever I get vaccinated.
Are you just waiting to get called, or are you gonna book one?
I'll probably book one, but I'm not on the. I'm too young. I'm too young and hip, dude. I can't book one yet. I'm
You
not.
see, if you're waiting to get called, you could be waiting for friggin' ever, because like you're relying on your local GP being on the ball, which is not always the case. I personally, I booked mine, and the website's really easy to do whenever you get called up.
Yeah, I mean, people
it
have
took
said
me
it's
2
really
seconds.
like there's a lot of availability as well. Like people are assuming that it's gonna be really hard to do, and it's like, dude, you can pick like so many days. It's,
I'll wait
which
till
is
the tablet form comes out.
like a protein shake version. Yeah, that'll be good.
Oh, the money they could make.
Chocolate.
The money
Coconut
they
flavor.
could make. This saves my life, and I can go to gigs. 15 quid for a can of fucking.
I know. Yeah, wait, see, we already got in the comments. Don't wait. GPs are focusing on the most vulnerable, which is true. Which is why, I mean, look after yourself, dude. If you want to book one, just book one. Go and do it. Go and do the thing. I mean, I will. Once I can, I will. But like I said, I'm far too young. I'm too cool. You guys wouldn't understand. Still got all my teeth. I don't know what you lose whenever you turn 30, but still have it. Whatever it is.
Emotions.
Emotions.
Caring.
Enthusiasm.
I can't. I do feel it fading. I do feel all of that fading at the same time.
Any sort of embarrassment.
Yeah, I you know what? I can't wait till that day. I would like to never be embarrassed and not care as much anymore. I feel like I already don't kind of care, but sure. I don't know. Anyway, with the music news, that was your coronavirus update brought to you by the
Sean,
the,
he's not wrong.
the other Northern Ireland executive, which is us, Six Ebro Podcast, Your Spaceship Music Collective, is the other Northern Ireland executive.
Nandez for hot tub president.
Hot tub press.
.ttv.
I'll do
MTV.
double whammy hot tub body paint.
Whatever you well,
That's one messy soup, man.
Jesus.
God. I'm trying to think of like if Twitch's rules are that it has to be appropriate to what you're doing, as like, I mean, can you push it further to like, you know, something where you would just be completely naked, but then also kind of be
toss?
like, well,
Hey.
I mean, that do you often ring toss naked? I don't think that would fall under the regulations, Mike.
If you ever see me in a hot tub doing anything, bring a toaster, plug it in, and throw it in with me.
Yeah. That's fair. I've talked about this before, but I feel like it makes me sound snobby, but I'm not. It's just a matter of fact thing. But I feel like hot tubs, and we're not talking like somebody comes to your house and actually, you know, builds a hot tub into the house, like a proper one. We're talking about those ones that you buy and they cost like between £200 and £300.
A paddling pool?
They're the new level of scumbag to me because they're like
Jesus
they are,
Christ.
but they're this thing. They're the new trampolines. That's the way I look at it. You know, where these sort of like scummy families get something because they spend like 100 or 200 pound and they're just like, oh, we're going all out. We got a trampoline. So now it's that they do it with a hot tub and they're like, we've got a hot tub out the back, and then you look at it, it's like you blow it up or something, or I don't really know, but it is a new level of
It's very much one of those like
found.
competing with Susan down the road sort of things, isn't it? It's like, oh, she got a hot tub. Did you know that?
How much was hers? How much was hers? 350. Yeah, it is a new level of scumbaggery that I've noticed.
That's a brutal word to throw about. Scumbaggery for something so generic and what people get.
I know, but it's not.
You're losing our hot tub listeners.
It's not a. It's not
What
a
are,
real.
what are we gonna
it's
do
not
now?
even-
Whenever Andy books his hot tub body paint vaccination, as Sean has suggested. I wonder, is there a specific website for that?
I wouldn't.
Yes,
search it.
I want to book my vaccine, but I want it to be a hot tub body paint.
It was gonna be Mixer, but then they shut down.
Vaccine party. One of those like what do they have whenever everybody has
Suicide
chickenpox?
pact? Oh, sorry.
No.
Whoa!
This isn't Heaven's Gate, Andrew.
It's like, now drink from the goblet.
Yeah, no, it's like they have those like chickenpox things where it's like one kid has chickenpox and then all the
Oh yes,
moms and dads bring their kids and they have
Oh,
a
yeah.
chickenpox
they
party.
rub the kids together and stuff. It's like, come on, get
Wow.
infected.
I don't know about that, but I mean, I've never been to one, never been invited. To be honest,
You feel left out.
probably don't do that with COVID, by the way, just in case that wasn't
Herd
obvious.
immunity. That's what they wanted, right? Everybody.
Pretty much America as a whole was having one of those one of those chickenpox parties where they're just like they didn't.
Yeah,
they
flipping
didn't
out.
care.
See, on a downer serious note, have you seen India?
I know. Yeah,
Jesus
it's bad, and that's the most worrying thing of it all. Like, and I know they're getting some help there, but it almost feels like you're.
There's too many
know,
people to help.
Well, it's like the Western countries, like U.S. is now recovering, the U.K. is recovering, and then it's like India is doing terribly, and it's kind of like, seems like
Yeah.
their problem, and it's like, what? I mean,
know.
Jesus. I know they're trying to give help there, and
It's just too
I don't
many
know.
people in such bad conditions. Too.
People
Yeah,
complain
yeah.
so much about what's going on here and government and decisions that have been made and everything. And I was saying to Jade there, it's like, I'm not for at one point saying that like all decisions were made right or that everything was done in the most perfect of ways, but it just makes you thankful that you live
could
in a
be worse.
country where you're able to get access to the vaccine. And although it wasn't nice to go through, they did lock down and they tried to enforce it as best as possible and stuff, and it could have very easily spiraled out of control. It is kind of like a peek into what really could have happened, in my opinion.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
For sure, definitely. But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Scary shit.
It is scary shit. Right. So there's something else I was gonna talk about here. I'll brush over this story quite quickly because it's one of these pointless things. You sort of like I've seen it on Twitter. I've seen a lot of people complaining, but I just think it's
There's no brushing over when I'm on the call, so I've always got something to say.
that's true. Well, okay. Well, Mr. TTV, what's your take on Elon Musk doing Saturday Night Live?
Cool. All right. I
Yeah.
don't see an issue.
Neither do I, but
I
apparently
also
everybody else
don't
does.
see an issue of him going, by the way, some people are going to die going to Mars.
Yeah.
Okay? Everybody wants, it's like, be more transparent. And then he's like, okay, people are going to die going to Mars. Oh my god, that's too transparent. It's like, what the fuck do you want?
Don't tell us.
Too serious. Too serious.
What do you want?
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, so Elon Musk is going to be hosting Saturday Night Live on Saturday, funnily enough, this Saturday. the 8th of May, and yeah, a lot of people took issue with it, including the people that like are on the show, like the people who do the skits and stuff. There's a lot of people sort of like, I guess they found out about it through Elon Musk's tweet, which was kind of weird. He said, oh, hold on, I've got it up here. He said, I'm hosting SNL on May 8th. Let's find out just how live Saturday Night Live really is, with like a little devil face. And that could mean nothing, or it could mean that he's gonna, I don't know, say something really stupid.
Oh, he's just really good at promoting.
Yeah, I mean, he's constant on there, but I think the problem is that, like, you know, a lot of people take issue with him for, I mean, he's done a lot of things. There was like that whole, like, at the start of the pandemic, he was kind of like downplaying everything and, you know, giving people bad information and whatever. Although you could argue that everybody didn't really know what it was. So, like,
you would have two doctors on the same TV going, this way, sky blue, sky red. Which one of you is the right one, and who do I listen to?
But you know what? I'll tell you how crazy it is, right? So the reason I was relating this to music news is because of Miley Cyrus. So she got announced as the musical host, or the musical guest, should I say, for the same night. And the thing that I thought was a bit like, it's crazy how quickly people pounce is, so she's gonna be on it. And she tweeted something, I can't even remember what it was, some sort of meme about Wrecking Ball, but she like tweeted it at Elon Musk, because they're both going to be on the show together. Yeah. And all of a sudden people just like, you know, what are you doing, Miley Cyrus? It's like, you're accepting this like horrible millionaire and I was like, whoa. So not only is it a bit crazy that we're so angry that he's going to be on the show, but Miley Cyrus, who just tweeted at the dude because she's going to be on the show with him, and all of a sudden she's like the subject of hate now, and I was like, whoa, man, society's crazy.
Roll back a couple of news stories, though. Why angry at Elon Musk? What did he say?
No, it's not. Look, a lot of people don't like him, man. It's just... He's controversial, obviously, and like a lot of the things he does. But, you know, I'm trying to pick out things off the top of my head, but there was, yes, the coronavirus stuff. I can't even remember exactly what it was he said, but he said a lot of kind of stupid stuff around that. He's constantly joking and memeing about things, and people put a lot of trust in him. So, whatever. There was that thing of the kids that got trapped in the cave, and... You know, he called the guy that rescued them a pedophile or something, a pedo guy or whatever the hell it was. There's just been a lot of stuff like that because I think people just think he's a far too entitled billionaire or something, you know. I don't really have an opinion of it. I don't really follow the guy enough, so I don't really know. But there's people who obviously feel strongly about it, and this just seems like the most... you know, contested episode of SNL ever since Trump was on it, where people don't really want him as a host because it's giving him a platform.
I don't know enough about the guy either, but my opinion is, like, now he's just, it was ever since he's kind of started getting that reputation as somebody who kind of just tweets stuff and says stuff that, like, any normal person would be thinking. Like, at a certain point, he had the reputation of this absolute genius, and he was a businessman or whatever else, and then he started doing these things where it's like, okay, he's kind of like a normal person, and that wasn't really allowed, and it affected share prices and all that sort of stuff. And to me, I feel like he's just became like a figurehead for like SpaceX. He's a mascot now, you know what I mean? He's a mascot for like a lot of smart people who are trying to do really cool things, and whenever you're the head of something like that, you're gonna get all the flack for trying to be normal and probably saying stuff
also
that he shouldn't.
He's also that in that 1% of genius bracket.
Yeah.
For 0.1%, I should say. 1% is probably too much.
He is also a lizard person, is what I heard. He's up there with Zuckerberg. They're both lizard people. I don't know. Neither one of them seem to know what emotions are. So
You ever see that? Sorry, I'm like really diverting off now. Did you guys ever see that prototype thing that he had for like the rapid underground transit system to like get around
In
LA
LA?
stuff? It's like you park at the side of the road and then it lowers the
down.
car underground and it like shoots it at about 200 miles an hour and then you pop up somewhere else
yeah,
on the other
that's
side of the city or something.
that's kind of terrifying.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
ideas.
It's like fucking Futurama shit or something.
Yeah. Although
I mean,
it'll
it's
just
like-
go as wrong as like the people who died like driving Teslas on autopilot, even though they've continuously said just autopilot doesn't literally mean sit in the back seat and let the car drive
Your
itself, but
hands.
people seem to think that that is what you do, and yeah, like 2 people died or something in a self-driving
mean-
car, but like, feels like it's kind of their fault, you know. I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't try and go asleep in the back.
But also with the whole like, he's just playing to what is happening. Like he plays to the internet. The internet plays themselves by arguing at him. It's
I
like
know.
he's only doing
Yeah,
what you
do you think
follow and
he
what you argue
actually
about.
fucking cares that much, really? About
mean,
the debates?
come on, man.
About a tweet? This is what I mean. People analyze one friggin' sentence from people like this nowadays. Like famous people. It's like they'll tweet out one sentence and people will pore over what it means and what it means for the future and what they're trying to say and everything else. It's like, who has the fucking time? Who actually really cares?
I know.
Like,
I know.
like, yeah. Anyway,
I just thought it was funny how like the backlash now turned to
Miley Cyrus.
Miley Cyrus,
just
just because
'cause-
she tweeted back to him. Yeah.
I was just like, whoa, people turn so fast, man.
Yeah.
Microwave.
But yeah, I suppose we'll go to a quick little commercial break here. If I don't know if you guys need to urinate.
I could get a third bottle of water, I guess.
Yeah, I might get a third bottle of beer.
Okay.
Kit change.
Hang tight, all you listeners and viewers, and you know, go take your urination breaks, or if you're still here, listen to the advertisements that we got for some great local delicacies.
Hey there, fresh-faced creative in a youthful advertising demographic. Does your reading material have a distinct lack of cultural nourishment for your slowly decaying, malnourished soul? Stop! Put that garbage down. Everyone knows you shouldn't get your news from old mediums like paper. That's 2/8 century. Plug into the information superhighway, loser, and read a zine. It's like a magazine, but without all that dumbass paper. Read Stranger Days, the arts and culture e-zine. It's got music, comedy, art, poetry, tarot cards, cinema, Year Spaceship, comics, podcasts, and Jim Carrey. Read Stranger Days now, because between you, me, and your trusty canine companion, we know fluffy cuddles and e-zines are the only way to push back the existential dread slowly consuming your every waking moment. Hold back the darkness today with Stranger Days. Available now at strangerdays.wordpress.com.
If you want to wrap your ears around all the music we've been talking about on the podcast, we run a special playlist over on Spotify. It's called Distant Sound Waves. Here over at Six Set Bro, we always thought, well, what's the gosh darn point of doing a music podcast if you can't let people hear any music? There is a whole lot of legal mumbo jumbo and copyright issues that prevent us from actually doing that on the pod. So we thought that was a pretty good compromise. We make a playlist and it gets updated every single month. On the playlist, we have things like all the new singles from local homegrown talent that we've talked about. Maybe some of the bigger artists that we've had conversations about, we'll put those guys on there. Or maybe it's just something new that we stumbled across and we've been talking about on the podcast. It is all there. You can find Distant Sound Waves by searching for it on Spotify, or you can find the links all over our social medias. Welcome back to the show, everybody.
Back in the nick of time.
Oh, Mike is just back in time from his urination break. How do you mix those two? Urication. I wanted a vacation and a urination trip. I felt like there was something there. Somebody smarter than me can come up with that one, I guess. You see, if I ever start a band again, I might call it Mama Roach. You know?
I like it.
Is that a band already? Yeah. And if it's not, I might just go through family members until I find one that works.
Uncle Roach. Granda Roach.
Grandpa Roach.
Grandpa
Roach. Pop Roach.
The timing of that comment was brilliant. Sean, no. I don't know if that's a no for it doesn't exist or just like no as in don't do it.
I just feel like I could get in maybe some legal trouble if I called it Pop Roach, you know. It's pretty close already. Man, I had other stories to get into, but I feel like we're gonna go over for time if I do it.
Go ahead, let's go.
Fuck it. Right, so there's one. Well, it's also a story that I feel is a very sensitive topic, and it's not my place to talk about this. I think. I don't know. It doesn't feel like I should be the one talking about it, but
we talk about a lot of things that we shouldn't. We have no place talking about. Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah, well, to be fair, at least I'm not famous enough yet to, get.
But remember they caught Kevin Hart 10 years after he'd done a tweet. It's like, hey, you done a tweet 10 years ago? You're in trouble.
That's true.
It's like, what? I've apologized 70 million times.
I know. So
anyway,
maybe I'll apologize for this in the future. Not that I ever like take some sort of crazy stance. It's just more like sometimes you feel awkward talking about it because it's like, well, it's not my, not really in my realm.
Do it.
Yeah, no, I'm sharing my screen here. Everybody who's watching on YouTube, I'm gonna share my screen so you can.
Have you updated your malware?
No.
Oh.
I'm still vulnerable, everyone. If you want to hack me, just come and find me. Right, let's see here. So, there was some weird stuff around. Like, you would think that Billie Eilish.
I have an opinion on this. Carry on.
All right, okay. You think Billie Eilish would just be in the news because, bringing out a new album, got a new single out. But, for some reason, the media just always... The media is obsessed with this woman's body. I don't get it. Can you just leave people alone? I know that's a lot to ask for the media, but Jesus Christ. It's just always one thing or another with Billie Eilish. It's like, oh, she wears baggy clothes. What's she trying to hide? And then it's like she doesn't wear baggy clothes. It's like, oh, damn. And then even the people that are supporting her are almost doing so in such a patronizing sense, which she called out. That's not even just me, but she's just kind of like, fuck those people that are just like, good for her, as if like, good for me what? You know what I mean? It's like, good for me what? And, also fuck the other people that are like, there's a problem with that. Because it's just, this is my body, it's my life, whatever. So, the thing that she's sort of talked about before, for anybody that follows her, is like, yeah, she has this style, and she wears a lot of baggy clothes, but she said that she did do it intentionally to hide her body, because she was kind of like, she mustn't like it, or she feels very self-conscious about it, and she said that caused a lot of depression for her whenever she was younger. And I think just maybe with everything that's happened now, because obviously she's very young, and I think with being in the media, is she 20 now? I don't know. Is she as old as that? I don't even know anymore. I thought, well, whenever she started, she was only like 16 or something crazy. Anyway, that is not really relevant. Anyway, I just mean, like, she's now sort of taking this stance of, like, I think she's trying to get more comfortable with it, and she's just tired of people, like, always judging her one way or another. So, with this next record, like, there's certain promo pictures and things like that, where instead of, like, wearing her usual stuff, she's, like, doing a completely different style, like this. Yep. So, it's just crazy how you can't just, like, this is on the cover of Vogue. So it's like she puts this out, and just immediately you have this combination of people commenting where so many people are being like, "Oh, this is awful," after people wanting you to be like this, wanting to show your skin, and now you're just giving into it, and then again, people praising it, but praising it almost in a backhanded compliment to sort of be like, again, it's like
showed
good,
them sort of thing or something.
well, it's she sort of says like, good for you, like, good for her, like showing off her bigger figure, and it's like that. Well, that's also very offensive.
Yeah.
It's like you're still kind of like, trying to say that there's something wrong with it. Oh, by the way, she's 19, Andy. There. Um. And then you also have these people that are saying, even from whenever she was a minor, people were trying to hypersexualize her, and she was kind of the difference in that because she wasn't doing it, and neither, like, you've just played right into it. Now, I do like that her complete, take on this is basically fuck everyone, and I'm just kind of doing whatever I want. If I
Yeah.
want to do this, then I'm going to do it. It's like, who are you to judge me? It's such a crazy story that it's even a story at all. It's like, Jesus, just let her do what she wants, man. Like, I don't get
That's
it.
kind
Like,
of
why it?
my opinion on it. It's like
It's my
everybody
opinion on a lot of things.
we're all constantly growing, changing human beings, entitled to change opinions, entitled to change style, entitled to go wherever our life personally fucking takes us. It's like, who is anybody to pass comment on that? And that's the problem. Just whenever you end up in such a big spotlight, is like everybody has a fucking opinion, and people don't forget something that you said a couple of years ago. Like, I mean, you're not fucking writing a contract whenever you fucking, that's what I was saying earlier, whenever you send out like a one sentence tweet or something that somebody's going to keep a record of and go, oh, well, you said this before and you're not living up to what you said, or you've changed your opinion. You're not allowed to grow as a
I
person. You're not allowed to change what you think.
Exactly. And I think that's the problem, is maybe a lot of people fell in line with her because they also felt self-conscious, or they thought like she is not, she's the outlier of like, especially women in music, to be like, as much as people maybe wanted to sexualize what she was doing and wanted her to look a certain way or be a certain way, she wasn't that really. Like, she wore different things as opposed to a lot of female pop stars. But that almost seems like a slight to all female artists. This what I don't get is just like, it feels like it's getting at women one way or another, and it's like, dude, look, some people want to do that, some people don't, some people change their minds, and then, like, and I say do that, it's not really anything, it's just fashion, dude. It's just, what I mean. It's like,
Yeah.
fucking Kanye West performed a whole show with like a glittery mask over his whole face, and it's like, all right, just just let Kanye do Kanye.
Yeah.
It's like, I I don't know. It's just, it kind of annoys me. I don't like seeing
Pop-
stuff like
pop
that
and
because that's why I felt the
rockin'.
need to talk about it.
Yeah, pop and rock in general is like hyper realism, isn't it? So like, I mean, it's just people doing things. It doesn't need to be analyzed, I don't think, per se. You know what I mean? It's you're whatever way you're going, you're just like, the whole thing is a big show, and as I say, it's like hyper realism. There's style behind it, like in music videos and everything else. It's like, you know, it's not meant to be something to aspire to. And the weird thing, the way that she's going about stuff with that, like, fuck everybody attitude, like, what, like, I don't care what the opinion is. It's like, it's very much the one kind of rock and roll attitude that is stuck over the years, is that, like, she's not meant to be, for even those people who fell in and felt comfortable with, she dressed in the baggier clothes and stuff. It's like, I'm not meant to be somebody that you attach yourself to and you follow for certain reasons. Even those people that done that, it's like, that was wrong to do also, because that's what I said earlier. It's like, she's a human. She's entitled to change her opinion. She's entitled to change her style. You cannot get angry at somebody for doing that. You know what I mean? And that is very much a rock star thing. It's like, I'm not a role model. I make music. I put out music. I put out like stylized videos and stuff. I make certain choices. It's all about telling big, grand stories and trying to get as many people on board as possible. So, like, you know what I mean? Don't search for role models in the wrong place.
Yeah. And it's funny because I mean it's almost like, I don't know if you guys listened to the new single that she did bring out. I listened to it like I know I've said before. It's just this thing, but you know, I'm not really with Billie Eilish's music. Again, just don't really get it. Not overly a fan. Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean I can't talk about this. Doesn't mean, you know, I can't be a fan of her as a person. Like, by all means, I listened to the new song. I actually did like it better than a lot of stuff on the first album. Very simple and stripped back, like, but you know, whatever. But it's interesting because to me, it almost seemed like a preempting this sort of backlash, because it is very much about, you know, it's all about abusing your power, which is the lyrics in the song.
What I was
and
gonna say. It's quite timely as well. Just in general, there's a lot of calling out of that sort of behavior in every sort of way. You know, whether it be like sexism or racism or anything else. It's like there is a big problem, and it's a very general problem. Instead of trying to take it from any one particular angle, it is actually, if you generalize it, it's people that have power that abuse it, and I think that's what's.
You know, she talks about that in her first album, right? Like, she was in an abusive relationship and stuff. Like, that's not old to.
No, well, I just mean more in the
like, as in the way she was like perceived and stuff.
It's more I felt like the preempting of this. It almost feels like this came at the same time as that, like, you know, the Vogue cover and the album cover and stuff, and it's like it's the weird like contradiction of the two. It's like, you know, people want to be a fan of her music, and she's releasing this song that's basically talking about people who, you know, manipulate you, or the studio execs that want you to do a certain thing, and it's like that the song's all about that, yet, you know, she does a cover on Vogue, and people already have like 100,000 opinions. Like, I mean, he's just saying that exact thing is like, I don't know, it's so funny how it contradicts itself a little bit, you know.
So when she was obviously a minor, she had all the clothes, baggy clothes. Maybe she just wanted to concentrate on her music. Maybe that was the focus point. You know what I mean? You get the creeps that want this when she was first out. Maybe she just wanted to concentrate.
Underage.
Maybe she just wanted to concentrate on her music, and she just used fashion and, you know, creativity to try and express herself through that. Now that she's like in a different stage of her life, she's gone through whatever she's gone through, different experiences bring out different things in people. She's just expressing it how she wants, I guess. Everybody called Lizzo brave for dressing the way that she dressed.
Yep. I know. Yeah. I know. And that's what I mean, is it's quite patronizing as well, is like, and I know Lizzo's probably takes it in a different way, but like, pretty much what those people were saying, like, this is the issue, is like, they're being like, good for her, and it's like, it doesn't matter that she's not, like, it's like, it is immediately backhanded compliment, because you're making such a big deal out of like, good for her for being so like comfortable with not looking the way I expect her to look. Like, that's pretty much what that says to me, you know. I
don't get some of the things that are thrown about nowadays. Like, brave is somebody who fucking jumps on a grenade or something, you know what I mean? Brave isn't anything to do with fashion or like a certain way that you dress. I don't personally think, because I would never judge anybody on the way that they dress in any way. So you could do whatever, and it's just that person.
Also, it's Vogue magazine. What else? What other photo shoot would happen? Also, didn't Madonna do this back in like whenever? Didn't she go like all flat out, like pretty much the same as the way Billie Eilish is dressing? Couldn't this be like a thing to the Madonna, like a homage to fucking the Madonna stage or era or whatever the hell?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Just in general, I just think it's weird that it's even in the, you know, it's
slow news day, basically.
I don't even. That's the worst part, is I don't even think it is, and it's just funny how like there's less people talking about the single than they are about this at the minute. From
I think
what
I think
keep
just
seeing.
because of the shock of what she was, baggy clothes, just obviously her image was just, she wanted her image to be a music. Sorry, she wanted like people to know her for her music, and then she got creative with her fashion and stuff. When I see her in interviews, and like I said, the Apple documentary and stuff, she's just a regular kid who cannot
yeah,
believe she's
definitely.
this famous. And when she's standing next to Justin Bieber, she's freaking out.
Yeah,
And then she has to go perform with him. It's like, come
Yeah.
on. And now that she's growing up, she feels like she wants to express herself. So what? Hey, do you know who has a problem with that and gawks at that? It's like, oh my god, look at Billie Eilish. Creeps. That's who does it. Creeps.
Yeah.
Just let her do
Creeps.
what she wants to do. Also, it's Vogue magazine. What other shoot do you think was going to happen? It's a magazine
in
called Vogue.
Kid Cudi in a dress on the cover of Vogue. Could happen. Could happen, everyone. He is brave, though. We have to give him that. And he's very brave.
He's
Because he wore a dress.
He's brave to. Anyway. At least Billie Eilish isn't going, oh, by the way, you can buy this dress.
I know. He probably killed for
Anybody
her,
without
her...
context for this conversation, please watch the last podcast.
Yeah, you're probably gonna have to. Which is called Kid Cudi Wears a Dress.
Yeah.
Just
I
in
can't.
case
I
you
can't.
were,
I can't wait for the new Billie Eilish album. I said before I had the single, she's gonna come out with something different. She's gonna come out with some different
Oh,
sort
yeah.
of tone. I mean, it's just she's too creative. Her and her brother are too creative to just to do the same thing. She's too big to fuck up pretty much. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I love it.
I don't know. I might be able to get into this. I did enjoy that single a little more than like I've enjoyed other things. But like, dude, it's like everything. Even if something's not particularly my cup of tea, I always like. I like music too much. I'll still
Try and
listen
give it
to
a
it. Like, I mean,
chance,
her
yeah.
album comes out, I'm still gonna listen to the album because I want to see what it is. Just
It's
interested.
that thing,
You know?
I suppose, as well. Like whenever you're a musician and you're making music and stuff too, it's that thing sometimes where it's frustrating. Sometimes whenever it's like, why am I not getting this? Why does so
Yeah,
many people like this?
I
It's like,
know.
what am I missing? Sort of thing. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's made me, not particularly Billie Eilish, but it's made me sit down with a couple of albums throughout the years and go like, what am I missing here? Sort of thing.
I know. I know I don't like being the person on the other end of that because it's like not that long ago I had somebody try and tell me they asked me because they know I listen to loads of music and stuff, and they were looking at, I don't know, it was maybe a tweet or something stupid. Anyway, it was like, what bands are does everybody else love but you can't get into? And then they were asking me, and I was trying to think of a couple, and I actually brought Billie Eilish up as a thing. I was like, it's not band though. And then I was like, can you think of any? And she goes, Tool. And I was like, okay, we need to sit down and have a conversation. And it's like, that's what I feel like somebody keeps trying to do to me though with Billie Eilish. I was like, I think I need it though. It's like, let's sit down and talk, and I'll tell you why you need to like this.
That's interesting. Like what band? Fuck.
What band is like really not necessarily like mainstream popular, but what band does everybody else like swear is just, amazing?
I
but you
gave
just-
0
you
Fs
don't
to
get it?
Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh really?
Yeah. See, that's weird to me.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Like,
know, I
and
can't-
the
I
thing
can't
is,
think of some off the top of
I've
my head.
never gone out and actually, I know the singles and what I've seen on TV. I've
Mm-hmm.
never made the effort to, or really cared that much to go and listen to a Smashing Pumpkins album, though. Somebody will have to recommend me one to go try this one.
That's so weird
I
for
mean, yeah.
not that they're the same thing or anything, but somebody who's so massively into Korn and it's like Smashing
I
Pumpkins were so
know.
big in that era as well. It's like that there's a lot of crossover with
I
those
know.
fans.
Maybe I should. Maybe I should.
It's weird
Yeah, I
because
mean-
Smashing Pumpkins is a weird thing where it's like they can kind of hit like different beats. Like they have the full on really heavy shit, and then they also have the really sort of like melodic, twinkly sort of stuff and all as well.
Recommend me, what album should I go to?
Well, probably Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. I mean, a lot of people will go straight there. That's the one with most of the radio, like the most radio success. But it is it's like a double album, so it's pretty long.
It can be a bit
problem,
intimidating. I always
Yeah.
hate double album. I talked to Stu about this before. It's like double albums immediately put me off. Like it feels like a lot of stuff to consume.
It is, but it's probably if you're trying to get into Smashing Pumpkins, it's probably a good place to start for a casual listener of them. Because some of their stuff before that is like fucking awesome. But yeah, I would
Album's
start
been
there.
Saved.
Yep, save it up, save it up.
But yeah,
right.
I think there's not to. I think there's a few. I could probably think of more that everybody be like.
I wish I could think of something. I'll maybe try and think of something for next week's show, but I am so crap under pressure with stuff like this. But yeah, no,
I have one, but it's hard because they say bands, right? But I know one that, and most times it kind of angers people. But Elvis is one for me. I don't get Elvis. I don't get why he's good.
Right. I'm not going to turn around and say that I'm an Elvis fan or anything, but can you not sort of, with you being such a massive Beatles fan, can you not see how in the same way it's like the history and the influence and how like so many people copied him for years on sort of thing?
I know, but I also think there might be a like a stigma to Elvis with parents and bars and how that portrays it. I think that's what it might be. But if you actually go out of your way and listen to like deep cut Elvis, it's like
yeah, I don't know. I just can't really get it. And I mean, it's a whole other conversation, but there's a whole thing about like like a lot of I know it's a weird term to use, but like musical historians really attribute the fame to Elvis less to do about him and more to do about the invention of television and the fact that people started getting television sets in their house around the same time he started appearing on TV, which is like the correlation is quite huge. I know that it sounds like it takes a lot away from Elvis, but like it's a pretty big conversation if you look it up sometime. It's they almost go hand in hand a little bit, and it's like,
I mean, it's
would
a
he
long
have been as famous if it wasn't for the advent of television at the same time.
It's a long conversation to have because then you could like people might not get like Pink Floyd, one of the greatest British bands. You play that to somebody and they go, "What the hell am I listening to? This is
Man,
I don't get this at all."
Constantly defend the Beatles and feel the need to sit and explain it to people, and they probably don't want to hear it, but they're like one of the greatest band of all time is obviously the tagline. Not necessarily true, but definitely one of the most creative and groundbreaking bands there ever was, which is easier at that time, but you still have to think of how hard it would have been at that time to just break away from everything. It's harder now, I think, to be as groundbreaking because there's so much. It's
harder now to be groundbreaking, but it's easier to get noticed.
Yeah, true. But back then it was like the stuff they were doing, they didn't have as many tools as we have now, so like breaking new ground was probably quite hard, and you really did have to think outside the box of what you were gonna do, but they did it.
You know what is like a weird thing is like, see everybody like they have their favorite bands and stuff nowadays, but I think me and you, Stu, we've talked about this before. It's like there's a certain point that you hit in your life where you're like, I'm into this new band that's out, I'm listening to this new band, and then all of a sudden you go, okay, I'm going to start looking backwards, because like you hit a dry period where you can't find any new bands or whatever, and it's like, I honestly wonder, like it's a music heritage sort of thing. It's like, if you get everybody that has certain favorite bands, because there's so many fucking bands in the world now, it's like if you trace it back, will it always go to like maybe 5-10 bands or something? Will it always kind of like go back as people kind of like try and find that lineage of, oh, the band that I really, really loved was influenced by such and such, and they were influenced, and you go back, and then it's like everybody ends up in the same place, probably.
I've got another one. I've got another one from the early 90s, Pulp.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
couldn't
No,
care
I'm
about
totally.
that band.
Neither can I. Neither can I. Just mostly because I didn't like the single though. That what is it called? 2000 year 2000. Is
Yeah.
that what that song is
Yeah,
called?
yeah.
Fuck, I can't remember.
Oh, and in that
The,
same vein, Blur as well. Like, I listened to all the Gorillaz stuff. I loved all that, but Blur as a
no,
band as well. That was.
Song
can't
two?
agree with that one.
Oh, come on. You were talking
no,
about
no.
Britpop and stuff earlier?
No. Like the singles, but I never made an effort like
Oh,
Smashing
yeah,
Pumpkins
yeah,
to go and listen to
Like
album.
all the deep cuts and
Exactly.
yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, I was just talking to my wife about this the other day. There was like song twos in that collection of songs that people don't really understand, where it's just a piss take. It's just a joke. Where it was like grunge music was so big, and they just thought they would make fun of grunge music, and it ended up being their most successful hit, which is hilarious. It's just so dumb. Like the lyrics are so dumb, and it was
It
just meant to be. It's
doesn't
like,
make it any less good music. Me and
I
you
know,
were
but it's
talking
funny,
about because you're like massive into Mac DeMarco, and I love what do you call that song? Baby's Wearing Blue Jeans, which again is like a
Yeah.
piss take thing. Is it Elvis or it's a tribute
well,
to
that
something,
whole
isn't it? That sort
that
of
whole
era.
album, Rock and Roll Nightclub, was meant to be like
You
him
still
doing a
can't
shitty
deny
Elvis
it's a
impression.
friggin' bop, like.
Oh yeah, no, it's a great song, but I expect that of Mac DeMarco. That's to me, that's not wrongly interpreted, you know. Whereas
Yeah,
song
yeah,
two, people are like, they're rocking out to it and like singing it at like
But
football
as
games and stuff. It's quite funny because they were making fun of those people.
but as much as
Everyone's like fucking loving it.
But as much as I didn't, I didn't go out and listen. I also did appreciate, and I knew Damon Albarn's musical brain. And when he performed live at like I think was it the Royal Albert Hall all them years ago, he done like a live gig. It's like, yeah, that guy
Yeah.
musically, and then he does the Gorillas and stuff. So it's just that portion of the Britpop stuff, the era.
Yeah, I mean, there's
I'm not
different
gonna go
things
listen.
to. You should oh, if you want like an album recommendation, not that like I don't really know if it would change your mind, but you would have to go to later Blur and like either listen to Blur, the album, like self-titled album, or listen to Think Tank, and it's very different.
And it probably will. Do you know why? Because with age, you just see. Because I was young back then, blah blah blah, all that stuff. I was like, I just want to listen to the cool stuff or whatever's cooler
Yeah.
at the minute. It's like, and then when you go
I
back,
thought
and
you were
listen,
about to
you're like,
drop some Uncle Ben wisdom there or something. With age comes great responsibility, or something like that.
But I have to admit though, like it was less Damon Albarn for me, and it's Graham Coxon that I love from Blur, the guitarist, and there's some songs that he sings. Like my favorite Blur song is called "She's So Great," and it's off the album Blur, 1997, I think it's out. And yeah, it's just like this little middle song, and it's like just him and a guitar, and it's all like rickety and sort of lo-fi, and man,
yeah.
I
See,
love that song.
97, I was listening to Korn, Deftones, I was listening to hip hop. I was like, I don't know what's-
That's my favorite Blur song now. Oh, but I suppose while we're talking about it, just quick tidbits on songs that are misconstrued all the time is Total Eclipse of the Heart. Loads of people use that as like a love song. That was written for a vampire movie and is all about vampires, which is quite funny. To me, if we just have a look through the lyrics with that in mind. Oh, you know what? I'll get it up for everybody who's watching on YouTube.
Do you know what vampire
just-
movie off the top of your head? No.
I can't really remember. I read this before somewhere, and it's just
Brooklyn Nine.
It
I-
makes
Eddie Murphy
sense
one.
as soon as you think about it. It's like, oh, okay, yeah.
yeah. I can't remember if it's like it didn't get used for it or something like that. But there's definitely
Wasn't like one of the
something where-
Twilight movies or something.
No,
The early
no,
ones?
I think this was before the
prequel?
the early '80s ones. Yeah, I remember those.
It
Yeah,
sounds like something like.
every now and then I get a little bit lonely, and you're never coming around. Where to go?
Something about
Well, she-
stakes in the heart.
There was, Yeah, there was like, together we can take it to the end of the line. Your love is like a shadow on me all the time. I don't know what to do. I'm always in the dark. We're living in a powder keg and giving off sparks. It's all about vampires, folks. Hold on. Vampire movie. I don't know. I don't really know what to search here. Yeah. It's a love song about vampires.
There you go.
I don't know. My computer's taking too long to load. Doesn't matter. But you can take Don Mabel's word for it. It's true. It's it's all about vampires. Let's just accept it and move on to the big question, which I keep forgetting. My stinger for the big question is not here, and it feels kind of like I don't know. I don't really have anything for big question. I'd be like, it's time for the big question. That's it. That's all I've got. Does anything rhyme with question? No,
Digestion?
it doesn't. I'm not gonna get it back again. I'm not bringing the guitar back. It's time for the big question, everybody. And the big question that we asked and put out into the interweb this week was... I forget how I worded it, but it was what organizations or what channels do you go through when releasing a new single, like a new release or whatever?
Yeah, kind of like where you go to get your music heard, sort of thing.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah. So like I have new stuff on the way, and it's I talk to you about what I do, although I'm very lackadaisical about the whole thing. But some people maybe have more of a plan. I'm just interested, and I think more of the conversation is for people listening in, in Northern Ireland that are talking about promoting their music specifically. It's maybe we'll give those guys somewhere new to go to, or maybe people can suggest another place that we didn't know of that you could submit your songs to, or you could reach out to, and I don't know. I'm just wondering, is it radio stations? Is it music blogs? Where are people going? And I think Michael started us out because he released a single very recently called Hopeless, and he can take us through maybe a couple of the places that he reached out to start with. And we'll have a little discussion. Feel free to take part in the comments.
So I took down a couple of notes of just things that I had been doing in like the last 2 weeks, and there's some stuff that I'll try and skip past pretty quickly because I know like most of our listeners will probably be familiar with certain things, but then again you have to account for maybe newer listeners, younger bands, whatever, that maybe don't have this information that would be useful to them, because this is the thing, it's like doing this podcast. I always hated the idea whenever we were coming up, whenever we were in the bands, and hit the B button back in the day, and it's like, it felt like there was a lot of people that were like gatekeepers and withholding information, because information is power, and you know what I mean, it's hard to find where to go. You end up wasting your time a lot of the times, like barking up the wrong tree with stuff. So basically, long story short, I'm going to go across a couple of things that probably a lot of people already know, but there's music blogs specifically for Northern Ireland music that you can go to try and get your tracks reviewed or like pushed or whatever. You have Chord Blossom. You have Across the Line, where you can submit your tracks. That's the local BBC introducing. You should always have a profile on there. There's a thing about Across the Line that I don't think a lot of people realize, is that it's, in a way, it's quite corporate. So it's like you can't just message the Facebook page or email them or anything else. It's very much geared for like rights-based playing of people's music. They want to make sure that if you're like signed up to PRS or anything else like that, that they can actually pay you. So see, if you want to get on Across the Line and get your music played, you have to upload it to the BBC uploader. as well. If you want to contact them as well. But if you haven't uploaded it, that's not you willingly giving your music and saying, I allow you to play this sort of thing. And a lot of people, I think, don't understand that and then get annoyed or angry. It's like, I was contacting these guys, they're not playing my stuff or whatever. But it's a lot of the times it is like, use the uploader, it's there. It's pretty simple. It takes 5 minutes to set up a profile and stick your music on it. We were talking a couple of weeks ago about how it's tough because I think like blogs definitely still have their use, and there's definitely hardcore music fans that read music blogs like every week on the internet and stuff. But I feel like things are getting an awful lot quicker now. And there's this weird different type of blog that is cropping up, which is very much heavily Instagram based, where it is kind of like a music blog or a magazine or a podcast like ourselves, whatever. But like all their promotion of bands is done pretty much on their Instagram profile with a picture, with a clip, a sound clip of music or whatever else. There's a couple of those blogs that are specifically geared toward Northern Ireland music. For anybody that's listening, you have Yo Magazine, YEO. They have like a really dope profile. It's all really clean looking, and I'm pretty sure they put out an actual physical magazine as well, which you can like subscribe to and stuff. And then you have Stranger Days, which we obviously run the advertisement for during our podcast. Those are super nice, very approachable guys. Shane from Ferals is one of the guys that runs that magazine. And it's so cool because I'm pretty sure I talked about it, like it's the work ethic in putting out that magazine every month or 2 months, however often they do it, is incredible because they have to put all this stuff together. And obviously there's varying degrees of effort come from the other side, from the bands. I know whenever we put the Year Spaceship stuff in, we pretty much had it all set and ready to go, but I know for the most part those guys are having to format questions, get all pictures together for bands and everything else, and they always put out like a really cool looking e-zine with like loads of extra additional artwork that comes specifically from those guys on top of any of the pictures and stuff that's provided by the bands. But that kind of like covers everything. It's not just music, there's like all sorts of other cool stuff in there as well, like that's going on in the art scene. So that's Stranger Days. So that's definitely one, as I say, they're so approachable if you just give any of them a shout. And then the other thing is definitely, we were talking about it a couple of weeks ago, podcasts are definitely the way to go, because you have small podcasts like ourselves where there's a small following, but like a core fan base of people that are like checking in for like grassroots music. They want to hear something new, and it's kind of the reason like that we like grassroots music is so much, because like a lot of times you're kind of in there early doors. It's like I feel like whenever you're going and you're finding music and stuff that's like whatever, less than 1,000 streams or less than 1,000 followers on Spotify or whatever, you're kind of actually seeing where music is going, not where it's at, because you're actually listening to the people who, fair enough, not all the time. A lot of times you have to trawl through shit, but whenever you get like really good stuff early on, you're listening to the people that are gonna be big eventually. And a lot of times this comes from like podcasts like ourselves, or the people that I'm gonna mention that are kind of like promoting stuff really early doors. So there's one that I've been listening to recently, and it's a girl, Rebecca, that runs Viking Promotions. And she does a podcast similar to ourselves, in that she would do like a lot of band interviews. The thing that she's doing that's really cool as well is she's done a couple of these like different tips videos on different. There's an Instagram account that does it up here that if you can remember the name, or if you can look it up while I'm checking or talking here. I can't remember the Instagram name, but it's along this similar vein. It's like it gives really practical tips for people in the music scene.
Oh, no, it's done. It's already been put in the comments. The music industry and I.
There you go. That's the one. So
Instagram.
Rebecca has put out like these videos that kind of remind me very much of that Instagram page, which is also like a really useful resource. But she put out one there recently that kind of explains how to put out an EPK, which for anyone that's not aware is an electronic press kit that you would send out to various different blogs or radio stations or whatever. And it's just kind of like the full package of your bio and your links to your music and everything else. But she gave these really practical and great tips about like how to make it interesting. Don't be self-deprecating, you know, and like I'm not going to go through it all because she done it so much better than I ever could, but she's putting out like these really useful tip videos. The interviews with like all the bands are great. She has interviews from bands north and south. She done one there recently, Coincidental, that we've been talking about on the show. He was on talking through his music, and then Voodoo Chief as well, that we're going to be talking about later on in the shoutout segment. She had him, or the guys on from Voodoo Chief recently as well, and it was a really cool interview too. So like, yeah, definitely I think podcasts are definitely a good way to go whenever you're pushing your music. There's another one that I haven't actually checked out yet, but I came across it in another tip that I had was I was speaking to Ben McGee from New Champion Management, and he sort of said, with a recent track that I put out there, rather than like forking a shit ton of money into like social media ads and stuff, he says, you know, like really early on, whenever you don't have much of a following, he says you'd be probably much better off, especially with certain tracks where there's a very defined genre and a defined audience there. The track Hopeless that we put out together, that you produced for me, Stu, is very much kind of like in a pop punk emo sort of genre. Whenever you have a track like that that has a very defined audience, he kind of recommended Facebook groups, Reddit groups. You can go there and there's a fan base there for it that are ready and willing to give stuff a chance and are ready to listen to stuff like that. So obviously I kind of took that approach. And then I was put on to certain, to go back to what I was saying before, podcasts. There's this guy that does a Twitch podcast called Punky's Mixtape, and it obviously focuses on a lot of kind of punk music and stuff. But there was this weird random amalgamation of stars aligning and stuff. It was weird. Whenever I went through those Facebook groups and found this this podcast, I happened on the Facebook page, and the day that he was saying, right, new podcast up this week. This is an American podcast, by the way. Sister Ghost, the band from here, were going to be on, and they were going to be promoting their new music or whatever was out. So it just kind of shows you like people that are really working at it, and are trying to like think outside of the box for different ways to promote their music. You're all kind of going down the same route, and like definitely don't leave out Reddit. I personally find Reddit a little bit easier and surprisingly less full of shit and potholes that you can fall into. Facebook groups are a bit harder because I feel like there's a lot of, you think it's a willing audience in a certain type of Facebook group, and you post up a thing and then you get like comments of like, oh, email this for PR and bullshit like that. I feel like that happens a lot more on Facebook than it does on Reddit, because I think there's a bit of a technical roadblock to using Reddit, if you know what I mean. So the people that are on there, one, already know how to use it, and two, are there for a very specific reason. Whereas, unfortunately, every fucking ass monkey can use Facebook and set up a Facebook group for nefarious purposes, as in to try and get bands in, and then like try and ask them for money to promote their single or whatever. So, but there are definitely other options to pursue, I think, and like different avenues to go down. But like to always be sort of thinking outside the box for promoting singles. The last tip that I have personally, that I've been doing myself, for pushing the new single, is to try and make things easy for yourself, I honestly don't think you're doing your music or your songs any justice if you don't, at the very least for 2 weeks, give it a constant push, which I know is the most difficult and time consuming thing in the world to actually, because I was talking about this to Jade today, is like push your music, but not in a way where you're just saying every single day, oh hey, I have a new single out. You know what I mean? You have to try and be creative and like have a good back catalog of pictures, and every day post up something different about the song. Now, in my personal experience, I have a video as well where I can kind of like give little tidbits of what I did to film the video or whatever. But like if you just have a song, then you can have little tidbits of like how you recorded the song or what it means to you or whatever else. But I personally think like the best way to push a single is a week before and a week after, to do one post a day, at least one post a day, so that it's constantly there. But again, not an annoying post where it's just, I have a single, go listen. I have a single, go listen, sort of thing. You know, different information to keep people aware. But the one thing that really helped me is, now this is a thing that people may not be willing to take on the cost of, but to me it was much more like I would spend £4 on like getting a carry out for a night to do this podcast or something, and the time that it saved me was more worth it than having a carry out for 1 week. There was an app called Planoli, and I've seen like a lot of different social media people using it. Carrie Davenport, that takes pictures for Belfast music scene, she started using it as well because she wants more time to herself and time with her family and stuff as well. Basically what it allows you to do is like take your whatever you're trying to promote on social media, your business, her pictures, my single, whatever else, take your business and concentrate on one day, sorting out your posts for the whole week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever, scheduling them, typing it all up on a computer so you're not fucking about with your phone keyboard or whatever, getting everything ready and having it like actually in front of you, in like a calendar format, and going, right, this is kind of my release promotion plan. So that was, you can like buy it for just 1 month, because like a year's subscription is like something stupid like £80 or something. Why would you ever pay for that? But like for 1 month it's like £4, and it's like, I think there's people that pay for actual Facebook ads and stuff, and you can like absolutely empty a ton of money into that, and I think that was so much more useful to me. And it freed me up every day to literally just at 12:30 on the regular hit a button and post a bit of content that I'd already pre-planned, and then it just meant that there was regular content going up promoting the single every couple of weeks. But that's everything that I have as far as tips. There's maybe certain other blogs or stuff that I can't really remember right now. I really wanted to prepare a little bit better for this, but trying not to withhold any information. That's everything that I can say that I did for my release.
Well, to be fair as well, I don't think I do anything different really. If anything, I do less. I don't know. I suck at this. I spend a lot of time making a thing, and then I'm so done with it by the release time that I don't give it the I don't really give it the attention that it needs to promote. I'm really trying to get better at that.
That's the thing. It's not fun, and
it's not. No.
The thing that I mentioned about that Planoli thing was it allowed me to get some stuff ready while I was still hyped and excited. And I get that whole feeling and idea of like a musician, as soon as it's out, I'm kind of done with it, but I'm kind of dragging myself along because like, what the fuck else did I do this for? I need to give it the time of day to push it, sort of thing. It's like this kind of allows you to schedule it and plan it while you're still in that, oh, I'm excited to put this out sort of phase. And it left me to kind of just hit the button every day.
I think it's difficult for me maybe as my own producer or something because like I mean you talk about living in a song. Anyone that engineers knows that you live in the song and you know the like the peaks and valleys every single bit of it by the end, and you're just like you really need to like step away from it like for a long time before you start to genuinely enjoy it again. And it doesn't matter how good it is, you know, it's just it might be a great song, but you're just kind of like sick of it by the end, you know. I find that really that's the most difficult part, so it's hard to be excited as much as the people who haven't heard it, you know. But like I said, I'm trying to get better at that. Like I'm trying to promote what I'm bringing out at the minute, which is kind of two things, I guess. You know, for anybody that follows me on socials, probably seen it, and I would not hide anything that I'm doing to promote this. I've reached out to any contacts I have, which is not many. There's a couple I've maybe met through, like, you know, being on a radio show or something like that, and I've saved them. Not that I would necessarily give those out, not because I'm trying to hide them or anything, but I don't want to give anybody's
that's a personal connection
details.
Well, this was the other thing. I couldn't find the article, and this is why I said I would have liked to had a bit more preparation. But I found this like really good article. It was actually in one of those Facebook groups about like it was 4 or 5 important steps about promoting music or whatever, and a lot of it was kind of like the same sort of things you would hear before or whatever. But it was quite plain speaking, and one of the things that I really liked, and it's just common sense, and it saddens me to see time and time again that there's certain people with certain attitudes on the music scene that just can't see past their own music. The number one thing was like actually participate in your music community. If you want to get people involved in your music, how could you expect them to if you don't give a shit about what they're doing as well? You know what I mean? Like actually build a music community. And through this podcast and through like just putting out that one single that I did there recently, like the amount of new artists that I've came on to that have really cool fucking music, like right off the top of my head, Sleep Lore that we talked about a couple of weeks ago now. I am so actively involved in the project that he's putting out. He's a producer from Scranton, Pennsylvania, and he like keeps putting out these like mad, super cool friggin' tracks, and they're doing really, really well. But we actually have a bit of a back and forth now, and all it came from was like actually acknowledging that I liked a song from somebody that was kind of at a grassroots level as well in a completely different country. But it's like all it took was a comment or two and a conversation to develop. Like people don't understand. There's some people on music scenes that don't understand the power of that. And it's like, you know, you got to get past your ego. Like nobody's music really deserves to be listened to. You know what I mean? You're not friggin' Elvis. You're not the Beatles. You know what I mean? There's so many people that can do this shit nowadays with like home recording equipment. You know, it's a weird and like it almost sounds like a boomer thing to say, like, but you're not special. You know what I mean? Loads of people can put out music, and you need to like build up that sort of community atmosphere and stuff. And you need to find. That was actually a tip that to go back to Viking Promotions that Rebecca said about putting out an EPK. The most important thing is you need to find your tribe. You need to find your people. That is, you know, if you like their music, you're probably into what they're putting out. It probably also means that you're putting out music in a similar vein and they might like your music back. You know what I mean? You need to find your small community and try and grow it. But yeah, that was, you just kind of, you triggered me there with,
No,
I went off on another tangent.
It's funny because I've known my tribe for a long time, and it's white lesbian women is my tribe for real. I mean,
That took a fucking.
Didn't expect that.
I thought you were gonna try and be funny and say it was called Quest, and I was like, "Hey,
Nope.
called Quest."
No. No, I'm not even joking. I mean, it's usually where my spot is. I like listening to Taylor Swift and drinking pumpkin spice lattes. So yeah, I don't know. I'm right there. That's just me. But and I'm a straight man's body, and that's who listens
Go on
to
a
my
cover
music
of Vogue.
also. I feel like that's who I attract to my music the most. No, I'm joking. Yeah, so like, yeah, I agree with everything you said, and I think maybe just to highlight it again, but that Instagram page, Music Industry NI on Instagram, yeah, I would definitely go there, especially if you don't really know what to do, because it's almost like just these like 2 or 3 pagers like you can swipe through on Instagram, and it's
So
kind of
clean
like,
and just to the point. Like,
well, you see a lot of these things like what we do on this show, it's debatable. It's like, and not saying that they don't do that on that Instagram page. Like there is a bit of, oh, is it better to release a single or an EP? But at the same time, it's a bit more direct of like, if you're gonna do this, this is what you need to do. And some people just need that. I think,
Yeah.
it's like if you're doing Facebook advertising, never boost a post. Like, simple things like that. And it's,
yeah, it's like
that
that.
thing
That
is
the
that
thing.
we know this, like me and Mike know this, but I mean you learn from doing it wrong.
Past
And
mistakes.
We've known it for
Exactly.
years, but it's like we know not to boost a post on Facebook, but it's the number one thing that they advertise to you. Like they put it there as if that's the best thing you can do, and it's like it's definitely not. You need to create an ad on the like what do they call it now? Like the business manager
Yeah.
app or whatever the hell it is.
And target a specific audience.
Yes, and
shit
target
like
your
that, yeah.
audience and target where you want it to go and your age groups. That's how you pay for advertising on Facebook, and it does work. It
Yeah.
works to a certain extent,
If you're gonna bother, that's the thing. As you say, like this page and certain resources like what we've mentioned, it's all just about kind of making the most of your time, and it's like trying to. And I wish we had it like back whenever we started our very first band. It's like trying to make sure that you don't waste your time and you can like cut to the end goal an awful lot quicker with people not safeguarding certain bits of information, if you know what I
Yeah.
mean. And I hope that maybe there's somebody out there that is kind of a little bit earlier on that is listening to this and is actually taking something away from it, because I know
Yeah.
there will be a lot that is like it's going out there, and there's people that know all this, and they've made the mistakes themselves as well and stuff, but they're, you share what you can.
Yeah,
And like
yeah.
we try our best to, as you were saying earlier, it's like we sometimes do get into debates because that is the problem. It's like nobody really knows the answer, and sometimes you go back and forth and you hem and ha about what exactly the right thing is to do.
Look,
That-
if there was an instruction manual on how to be successful in music, I think we would all be famous by now. So like there's no one way to do it. It's you could do all these things and feel you're doing everything right, and then there could be some person that just plays in the right spot at the right time and is noticed by the right person. Like there's always that chance of just like you never know.
Yeah.
You never know, you know?
Isn't that how why am I blanking on his name? John Legend got discovered. He was playing in a hotel lobby.
Oh, I actually don't know. That's a pretty cool story if that's true. I like that. I like that a lot. I didn't know this, but I was just being informed that Liam Craig, who manages Row, who's an artist that we've had in the Distance Sound Waves playlist like a bunch of times, but he manages her. He's the one that runs the
That's very
music
cool.
industry, and I was curious who was running that because I didn't
It
know.
was very good information. As like,
Yeah.
this is somebody who actually knows what they're talking about.
Yeah, I could tell from reading it. I was just like, yeah, I mean, pretty much all this sounds like 100% the right things to do. Doesn't guarantee you anything by any means, but like it's your best shot at doing things right
Yeah,
within a
just
budget.
make sure that's it. Just make sure you're not doing the wrong things, because that will
Yeah.
definitely guarantee failure, not success. You know what I mean? As long as you're doing all the right things, just have no expectations, but like try and do the right things. I think is the main thing.
For sure. I think I'll run us right over to the shout out segment quickly here, boys, because we're running up to 2 hours. It's a long one, so we'll do shout out segment and we will wrap up the show.
Shout out segment.
Welcome to Shout Out segment. All the little people out there that we think have really cool things out of the minute, we're going to shout them out. We're going to talk about some cool songs and stuff. I promised I would shout out. There's two artists who I got put on to by a friend of mine, and they're actually really cool. One of them's called Amaric, and the other's called Travi the Native. And yeah, I've only started listening to them. It's quite early days, but like, yeah, I would highly recommend both of them. To me, is so far like Travi the Native, I actually thought was really cool, like straight off the bat. And Amaric is, I sort of started listening to, like, there seems to be like a theme going. I noticed immediately whenever I went on with like the track listing, because there was like, it was almost like these, not exactly colors, but it kind of felt like colors. Like there's a song called Olive and one called Lilac and one called Linen, and I was just like, there's a theme going down here, and I kind of feel like I need to fully experience that. So I've only heard like a couple of songs from each of them, but I'm actually really enjoying it. It was a good recommendation. So I just thought I would pass the recommendation on to everybody else out there, and go check out Travi the Native and Amaric.
Cool.
But that's all I got.
Cool. Do you want to go first, Andy, or?
There's no Leo Miyagi news, so. I'm joking. No, I don't have any shout outs. Just shout out to Henry Cavill. Happy birthday. Big Jersey fella. That's why I'm wearing this. Big fucking Jersey boy. Nah.
Superman.
Also,
that's not the theme song, is it? I don't think it says
it
Superman.
could be.
I forget.
Also, you skipped over the J. Cole. I'm just gonna drop this album cover. I'm coming out on the 15th.
Shout out to J. Cole.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah. He's just like, oh, I've been working on this for years. By the way, here's an album cover. Boom.
Also, that TDE announcement's tomorrow.
It is.
Yeah,
No,
I seen that.
It's Friday, right? Friday. It's the 7th of May. It's meant to be.
It said Thursday on the thing. There's like
Maybe
a
they'll
trailer. It's like a trailer or something.
Oh shit.
Shit. I don't think it's. I honestly don't.
Oh shit.
I don't. Do you think? I don't know. Kendrick Lamar wouldn't promote with a loading graphic.
No, I think it's Isaiah Rashad, to be honest.
That's still cool for me. I love Isaiah Rashad.
I would put my money down on Isaiah Rashad.
Thursday, May 6th, 4 p.m.
There you go.
Live video premiere plus gifts, whatever that is.
All right. Well, I'm putting my money down on that as much as I mean, I don't care if I lose in as Kendrick because that's what I really want. But yeah, Isaiah Rashad, I'll put my money on it, folks. That's who I think this is. That's what I think is dropping.
I think you could be right. I'm going to go that way too. And we'll be happy if it's not as well.
I'm happy either way. It's a TD release. It's always good.
True.
That's it.
Okay, when to go?
Yeah, I've only got one shout out, and it's another one of Mike's overly descriptive new release rundowns. Apologies in advance. I was talking about the Viking Promotions podcast earlier there, and I watched a particular one that had Voodoo Chiefs from our local music scene on, and they were doing an interview. But Voodoo Chiefs have released their new single called You Should, and it's a bouncy, riffy, absolute bop with a melt-your-face kind of finish somewhere in the alternative funk rock kind of genres. Now, this is where I apologize for my description, but the song sounds a bit like if Bartosz, the bass player of the band hailing from Poland, is heading out to grab some energy drinks for a lengthy recording session with the rest of the Voodoo Chief boys. But wait, as he bops down the street, the sky has darkened. There is an ominous, almost palpable feeling in the air. Something is amiss in the universe. Upon arriving at his local Centra, he attempts to purchase 72 cans of Boost energy drink, but is set upon at the cash register and attacked by a band of cosmic voodoo-powered ninjas. In the ensuing chaos, the ninjas almost get the better of Bartosz, as he tries desperately to hold off their vast numbers with just his wits and the power of his majestic beard. Just as all seems lost, the rest of the band smash in through a skylight, wearing die-hard John McClane tanks, and they help level the playing field. Patrick grabs one of the stray cans of Boost from the floor and tosses it to Bartosz. He downs it like Popeye, the sailor, making short work of his spinach can. The ninjas were ill-prepared and unaware of one of the most vital and deadly details. Whence powered by Boost energy, Bartosz transforms into his true form, a grandmaster of the arts of both capoeira and breakdancing. Just as the face-melting solo of You Should blasts over the Centra's Tannoy system, he makes short work of the ninjas, limbs flailing gracefully in a hypnotizing display of dance violence. The rest of the boys jump in, mopping up the ninjas with wet floor signage and folding chairs, in a sight somewhat reminiscent of a WWE Royal Rumble. The lads stand triumphant as we fade to black. Equilibrium has been restored to our fragile world. I have drank too much. I am sorry.
What the fuck was that? Kanye?
It sounds like that. It's a good track.
Who's Bartosz?
The bass player.
Bass player.
It sounds like that, roughly, something like that. You know what my favorite part was? And I feel it's just the way you spaced it, but the way you were like, where he drinks it, like Popeye, the sailor. As if I was gonna be confused.
Do you know what the problem
with
is?
Another Popeye? I don't know.
Obviously, I've typed this out. This is not all coming from my head, but it did come from my very troubled head earlier. But I typed it out and I lost where I was from one line to the next. So that's why there was that dramatic pause.
Popeye,
The sailor.
the sailor.
Yeah.
Not
It's like I'm calling all the listeners dumb. It's like, the sailor. Who else would it be?
not my cousin, Popeye.
It'd
not
have been
really
funny
a
if he-
a
Popeye's
frequently
chicken.
used name anymore, is it?
it'd been
Or
funny-
was it ever?
It'd have been funny if you just added like man after like a longer break, like Popeye, the sailor.
Man.
Man. Yeah, I like
Sip.
Man.
it. Man.
God, your comedy timing. What is going on? You stepped
know.
over my jokes.
I know,
Jeez.
sorry. You took way longer than I
I feel
thought
like
you were
somebody
going
else. I should just be the writer in this thing. If
like
this was
Sean-
a TV show, I could be the writer, and we need a performer. I should be bouncing this over to Stu or Nando's.
Like Sean said, you should, for some milestone of an episode, you should try writing a D&D game.
Oh yeah, you ever
I'm into
considered
that.
DMing for D&D? Yeah, and that's that's a serious offer because I know that Sean plays D&D, so that's yeah.
I'm in, man. As soon as we're allowed back out again.
He's drunk now and he might like agree to it, and then you'll get a game set up and you'll be like, what? What did I agree to?
Here,
I know you
there's
said
been
you
a,
write an
there's,
entire
there's,
script.
There's been an awful lot of popular podcasts have made it big on
Incorporated
D&D.
D&D?
Oh, I listened to
Let's
Critical
do
Role.
this.
There's a podcast called Critical Role with Matt. He's a voice actor, Matt Mercer. Sean will probably type
We'll
in
get
capitals.
Sean on here and we'll D&D it up. 6-step brew.
Sean will probably type in capitals, hell yeah, or something. I don't know. But
Stone Cold.
Just I'll bring the hot tub.
hot tub. Fucking hot tubs.
Bringing it back.
Yeah, and I suppose just one last thing before we go, and I suppose I can shout it out, is the release of
see, Critical Role.
my yeah, there it is in the comments. I see it. The release of my sort of compilation album coming out on Friday. So I've already posted about this, but for anybody who wants a little more detail on what it is and what's happening with this, so I have released an EP back in God, I can't remember when, November or something like that, last year, the end of last year, and it was called Sad Boy, and I have a new EP that's coming out on the 20th of May called Good Boy, part of the same series, and I have decided, as far as I'm aware, this is going to be the last Bandcamp Friday, that I have put the Sad Boy EP, which is already out, and I've attached the advance copy of the Good Boy EP, and I have added a live version of one of the songs that I performed at Douglas Week, and I've included a brand new song that is like I mean, whenever I say new, I recorded it yesterday and finished it in one day. I can't believe how fast I did it. I don't know why it's like the best mixed song I've ever made. And I did it in like maybe 4 or 5 hours or something. I can't wrap my head around it. I've spent months like crafting a 3-track EP, and then I did probably the best song in one day. So I don't know. Anyway, all these will be on one compilation. Oh fuck. Hopefully there will be a fuckboy EP is just landed in the comments. Maybe. Who knows?
Peter in with the winning comment to finish off the show.
That is a winning comment. Stay tuned. Who knows? It could end the trilogy. I've had a lot of suggestions on what the last one will be, but Fuckboy is by far the best so far.
You should just end it. You should just end it with "Yeah, boy."
Yeah, boy. I'm not gonna lie. That was the idea for the last one for a long time. Was gonna be "Yeah, boy." But
you
anyway,
with a massive clock. Just
yeah, Flavor Flav.
By the way, I said clock.
Yes, yeah. It's not the Fuckboy EP cover. Yeah, that's different. That's a different thing. Friday, this Friday, 7th of May, I will be releasing this compilation album, and it will have all that stuff on there. It's called Boy in the Hood, and it's only available on Bandcamp. One day only. It's gonna be like an exclusive thing. The only time you get all this stuff together in one place and one thing together. And I did it for. You gotta give the fans something, and it's kind of like with everything that's happened in the pandemic, it's financial support through the music. It's kind of like the best thing that I've figured out to do. Because I did one like a while back that was like a 1-day offer thing, and the support was awesome. Because obviously, like, I haven't been able to earn money for shows or anything like that. And instead of, like, just doing a load of, like, live streams and donations and stuff, I just, like, look, every once in a while, I may just do something like this. Because I feel like you have to give the people... So I can't just expect people to, like, watch a live stream and give me money or something like that. That feels a bit cheap. So I feel like I need to make something for everyone. So, which is awesome, though, because, like I said, I made that song, and I actually... really loved that song I made specifically just for like an extra to the album, because I felt like I wanted to provide them with something else, and now I love the song so much. I was heavily inspired by Andre 3000 for the verse on that.
You playing flutes?
I'm not playing flutes. It's more the rap style. Yaz flute. But I get my Andre 3000 on it. It's a sexy love song for my wife. X-rated, fully triple X-rated. Maybe you don't want to listen to it. I don't.
Bring
know.
the hot tubs, people.
It features hot tubs. It features Kanye West reference. A reference to puppy dogs. There's a bunch of stuff on there. It's the first song on the record, and it's called Sensitive. And you're gonna like it. It's really good. The whole thing's really good. And like I said,
all right, Kanye West.
It is. Fucking nobody makes music like Don Maple. Is all I'm saying. All right.
He did say he was gonna
call back.
Nobody
he did
else
say he was
out
gonna
there
do
doing
that
this.
last week. Yeah,
I did. I don't see anybody else out there making this shit. I don't see. You listen to this. You listen to this.
He's 5
fucking,
seconds away from muting us, Andy.
You listen to this Boy in the Hood compilation, and you tell me anybody else is making shit like this.
Mr. West, do you like crab sticks?
George Bush hates white people.
There's Mike Myers just like.
George Bush hates. Well, I'm not gonna say black people, but yeah, that's what he said. Yeah, that was funny.
So here are the rails, and we've just.
We're way off. I was trying to promote myself, because the sad truth is this is for me to earn money to pay my car off. Everyone, it's the
Car has 3 wheels, people. God damn it! Buy the EP.
I need that money, everyone. So you will be supporting my car, essentially, through the purchase of this compilation, and that's all that matters. Yeah, it's really good. I hope you guys enjoy it, like for real though. Put a lot of time and effort into all this stuff, and if you listen to it, it's quite cool because it'll be like the one time that they're together, the good boy EP and the sad boy EP, and if you listen to them the whole way through, that's the way they should flow.
100% no joke. This is the thing. It's like the EPs were separated by a couple of months as you worked on them, but like they do deserve to be on a record together. And like this is the only time that you'll get that. Like if we were not like poor ass broke musicians and you were trying to fix your car, this would have been a very cool fucking vinyl if you could afford it. So like this is the EP. You want all those tasty tracks all together in one go, so you could like listen to it as it was meant to be, because it's very much all of the same sort of concept.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of like I talked about it a little bit last week, but like if you listen to it in the right order, it's a little bit backwards. Sensitive is kind of like it's like a separate track, so it just starts the EP to introduce you to it, and then you're gonna get the Good Boy EP first, and then the Sad Boy EP. The reason being is that the Sad Boy EP is actually the more positive of the two. Good Boy is kind of this transition of trying to better yourself and trying to be on a good path, and constantly falling off of it and really struggling with it, and people looking at you and thinking that you're happy and everything's great and your life's so good, when in reality that's not exactly what you're experiencing. And that's kind of the whole concept of Good Boy, whereas Sad Boy was more of a me from a personal standpoint trying to get over those things and improve my way of thinking and try and better myself, and felt like I was actually getting there. It is a good journey the whole way through, because that's across 6 tracks then, but it's out on Friday. I'm thinking about if I have enough time, I might do like a little live stream on Friday after I finish work, maybe just to do like maybe an AMA, maybe play a couple of songs or something like that, if that's something people would be into. But we'll see. But one day only, Friday, 7th of May, Boy in the Hood. 28th of May, Good Boy EP goes on streaming services. So have at it, folks.
Yeah, boy.
Thank you all very much.
Boy in the Corner. Dizzy Rascal done Boy in the Corner. Sorry.
Track of the day before we
Track
bounce
of
off.
the day. Hold on, let me get the stinger. Track of the day.
It's the shortest intro to something you've ever done.
Beautiful.
I might just start using these from now on.
Yeah.
It's easier.
They're to the point. They're punchy. I like it.
Yeah.
We put it up on the Your Spaceship Instagram earlier. This is literally, I picked this for track of the day. I was scrolling through Facebook and this live performance came up. And I was like, oh, this is really, really cool. Who is this guy? And I kind of like went down a rabbit hole. The guy's name is, I hope I'm pronouncing it right because it's so brand new, Sypho. He's literally just been signed to the label that deals with the 1975, Beabadoobie, Peel Waves, Wolf Alice. So he's like under 1,000 Spotify followers at the minute, and I honestly think in a couple of months' time this guy's gonna be blown up. He put out like a double A side. It's this track called Moonlight Part 1 and Part 2, and like the Part 1 is really, really kind of like aggressive rap based, but then like he has like a great voice as well. He sings like really melodic like choruses and stuff as well, but like he put out the double A side sort of saying that it's like examining like the duality of people. In particular, he said like about being like a black guy, about having to put on like a front, and like the way a lot of rappers and stuff would kind of like always be rapping about like braggy sort of stuff that we talked about before, like making money and cars and all that sort of stuff. But then like the second track is very much like of a more sensitive nature and stuff, and he said he found a lot of happiness in that, in acknowledging that like there can be multifaceted sides to him. So like really putting out like those two very contrasting tracks was like a really concise way of like displaying this whole duality thing that he's going for. And I think he's dropping an album relatively soon, which he says is kind of continue that theme a little bit more. But just like I was straight in there as soon as I seen that first like live performance. Very, very cool.
Awesome. Well, that's our track of the day, and that is it for 6 Upper Live. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. You know all the things to do. If you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Man, we're so close to 100 subscribers. So, like, can you just make it get there? That would be really good. You can follow the podcast on Spotify. And make sure to get Boy in the Hood on the 7th of May. That's this Friday. One day only, exclusive, everybody. One day only. Thank you very much. Love you all. See you next time.